Do you know where the difference in fees goes? It goes towards commission. That's where it goes. The difference in fees goes towards commission. And that's why you're not being told how to structure these policies right out of the gate. So my wife got a new dog, and it's a foster dog. And man, if she's not finding every single freaking hole in our fence in the backyard, like it's out of control. She just keeps escaping. And so I'm out there having to patch this fence with like chicken wire and all kinds of stuff. Have you ever started down a path and you think, oh, I've got all the tools, you think that you're prepared for the job that's in front of you, and you get like halfway through the job and you realize, oh man, I started this the wrong way. I have the wrong tools. You need a different set of tools. You need a different set. I need thicker gauged wire to keep this dog in because she keeps just like pulling apart the wire that I got. It's too thin. It's not heavy enough gauge. Okay, that's what happened to me. And that's what happens to a lot of you when it comes to indexed universal life insurance. You get into this thing. You think that you have the right tools. You think that you're working with the right relationship. You think that your policy is designed the right way. And then you get 3, 4, 5 years into it and you realize, oh man, I have the wrong set of tools, or I have the wrong advisor, or I have the wrong product. And so today what I want to do is I want to go through the biggest mistake that we see as it relates to indexed universal life insurance. And the reason it's the biggest mistake is because if you use the wrong structure from the beginning, you cannot go back and fix it easily. You are stuck with it. We're going to be talking about fees today associated with the starting death benefit of your indexed universal life insurance policy designed for tax-free retirement income. That's what we're talking about. So we had someone come into the office over and over again over the last 3-4 years. We've had people come into the office or email us, do a Zoom call with us, and they send us a policy that's going to look something like what I'm about to show you here. So over the last 2-3 years, we've seen this time and time again. Someone either comes into the office, they email us a policy, and it looks, so they come in, they send us something like this, and what we've got here is a $5 million death benefit, and we've got a $150,000 annual premium for 7 years, $150,000 a year for 7 years. So a lot of money going into this policy. They're doing it for the right reasons. They're like, hey, I want something that's not really, tied to the market as much as my other investments, like my 401k, my IRA. I want something that is going to have some tax-free nature to it later on down the road. And so they've got the right mindset about what this can do, but they're being told by someone else, hey, just start with, like a $5 million death benefit. You need a big death benefit for your family, right? Because if something happens, you want to be taken care of. And look, that's what term insurance is for. Honestly, that's what term insurance is for, big death benefits to take care of your family. When it comes to cash building policies, the starting death benefit is what's going to determine almost all of the fees on your contract. So when they're telling you, oh, we're just going to start with a big death benefit, and then you see how we drop the death benefit here in year 5, we drop it all the way down to $2.6 million to make it super efficient for you. When they're telling you that, they are not doing you any favors, because the starting death benefit is what's going to drive the majority of the fees on the contract. So what they'll tell you is, well, when we drop your death benefit from 5 to 2, the cost of insurance gets cut like in half. That's what they'll tell you. And you'll think, okay, so I am getting a good deal. I can have my high death benefit in these early years, and then I can just drop it later, and it's no big deal, right? Like I got a great, efficient policy. That's what you're thinking. This person's doing me a huge favor. They're getting me a big death benefit. They're going to drop it later. They're taking care of me. But the reality is the starting death benefit, the $5 million, the starting death benefit is what drives the majority of the fees on the contract. And if you change it later, it is not going to affect the majority of the fees on the contract, and they are not doing you any favors. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to compare this policy to a policy where we start with that, 2.2-ish million right out of the gate. Okay, so we start with the 2.2-ish right out of the gate. It's the same $150,000. If you need $5 million in death benefit, you can supplement this policy with term insurance, okay? You can supplement this policy with term insurance and be way better off. Let's look at the fee ledger. So we're looking at the fee ledger here of the $5 million policy, the one where they're telling you, hey, I'm going to do you this huge favor of getting you this nice big death benefit early, and then we'll drop it later to cut the fees in half for you. This is what you need to be doing. This is the best thing for you. They're not doing you any favors. Let me show you why I'm saying that. What is the largest charge on this policy? What's the largest charge on the policy? It's pretty easy to see. It's right here in the middle. It's this per unit charge. And this is going to be called something different for just about every company. But for the most part, this is going to be the largest charge of every single ledger that you might look at from any different company. If we're talking about a cash building indexed universal life insurance policy, whole life doesn't count because whole life isn't going to show you a fee ledger. You'll never see one. You'll never see a fee ledger in whole life, so that doesn't count. Variable life is going to have things like M&E expenses and fund fees, and so that's not the same either. This is indexed universal life where they actually show you what the fees are. The largest fee on the policy is going to be this per unit charge. Sometimes it's called a per face fee or a per thousand charge. This per unit charge is based on the starting death benefit of the policy, and it does not change even in year 5. When we cut this policy death benefit in half, if you remember, we go back here, year 5, we drop to a $2.6 million death benefit. Like, hey, I'm doing you this big favor. We're going to cut the fees in half here in year 5 for you. You get a nice big death benefit up front. Not doing you any favors. They're not doing you any favors. Let's go back to the fee ledger. So here we are, our per unit charge. It gets cut in half in year 5, right? Just go to year 5, the death benefit gets cut in half. Oh, wait, no. It's totally unchanged. It's a fixed charge. Now, they told you cost of insurance gets cut in half, and they're pretty much right. The cost of insurance does change, but the cost of insurance is basically the smallest fee on the whole policy. So you just overpaid for 15 years on this per unit charge for no reason. You think you could have got a $3 million term policy for, $10,000 a year? Yes, you could have. You absolutely could have. But why not? Why didn't you? Well, because you were told this is the way to do it. We just dropped the death benefit later. Let me show you the difference in the fees if we would have structured this right out of the gate. So here's our $2 million policy. It's the same $150,000 in premium. Let's go to the fee ledger. So here we are on the fee ledger of the $2.2 million policy. What's the largest fee on the contract? It's still the per unit charge. And it's how much? It's $10,000 a year now. We knocked off basically $14,000 a year in fees for 15 years. And we have a lower cost of insurance out of the gate. Lower cost of insurance, lower per unit charge. Our total fees for the first 10 years are $204,000 if we were to structure it right out of the gate. Total fees, doing it the wrong way where people are telling you, hey, we can just do this later. Get a big one now, drop it later. That's the best way to do it. $361,000 in total fees. $204,000 in fees versus $361,000 in fees. Do you know where the difference in fees goes? It goes towards commission. That's where it goes. The difference in fees goes towards commission. And that's why you're not being told how to structure these policies right out of the gate. And it's the number one reason people come in and send us policies that they're not happy with, because they think, because why wouldn't you think? Of course you think, well, I can just fix it later. If I get a policy that's not perfect right out of the gate, I can always fix it later, right? My dog keeps escaping from the fence, and I just think, I'll just patch it later. Well, then I go to patch it, and no, she gets through the fence again because I'm using the wrong materials. You have to use the right materials out of the gate. You have to design the policy the right way out of the gate. You can't really fix it later. You just can't really fix it later. And so this is why, guys, this is so important that you're working with someone who really does know how to structure these policies the right way from day one. And not only do they know how to do it, but they're willing to make less money so that you can have an efficient policy that's going to work for you long term. And so if you are looking at cash value life insurance to solve a problem, whether it's you need asset protection, maybe you want protection from creditors and bankruptcies, maybe you have a bunch of money in 401k, IRA, brokerage accounts, maybe a SEP, and you're looking for something that is less risky, that's not going to be correlated to market losses. Maybe all of your money is in tax-deferred and taxable vehicles, and you're looking for something that's going to act kind of like a Roth IRA, and you're already maxing a Roth IRA out. Life insurance can be an absolutely phenomenal vehicle for you if you have the right time horizon and if you get these things structured the right way out of the gate. I don't care if it's whole life. I don't care if it's variable life. I don't care if it's index universal life. It doesn't matter. They all function the same way. They have to be structured the right way from day one because most of the fees on the contract are going to be generated from that starting death benefit. You can't change it later and hope to fix it. You just can't. I wish that you could, because so many of you come to us in year 3, 4, 5 of your policies and you say, hey, I have this policy and I think it wasn't done right. Is there anything you can do to help? And a lot of times the answer is no, because of what we just looked at. Changing the death benefit doesn't really change the fees all that much. So if they're telling you, hey, we can just give you a big death benefit now, you can always drop it later, I'm going to tell you they're not doing you any favors, and you need to go to our website, leveragedwm.com. Up at the top, you'll see 2 things. You'll see contact us. I think you also see IUL review. You can go there. You can reach out to us. You can schedule a quick 15 to 30 minute discovery call. You tell us a little bit about what you're hoping to do, a little bit about what you're trying to achieve with these policies. We'll let you know if it's possible. We'll show you several different options, not just one option. We'll show you several different options. We'll educate you on the pros and cons of all of those different options and find the best bang for the buck for you. And then at the end of that whole process, not the first call, but at the end of our whole process, you'll know how these things work. You'll know where they're a fit and where they're not a fit, and you'll know if it's the right thing for you to move forward with or not. No matter what, we will part friends. So go to leveragedwm.com. Up at the top, click that contact us, click that IUL review, fill out the quick quiz or form, reach out to us, let us help you with this. This is our expertise. This is what we love doing. We want you to see this done right out of the gate. This is Matt Decker, Leverage Wealth, done 5,000 cash value life insurance reviews over the last 7 years. We know what we're doing. We want to help. We can help. leveragedwm.com or click the links below. See you soon.